Hello, it is Friday, October 9th. I'm Jason Stanton. This is my morning musing for today. I serve at First Lutheran as their senior pastor, and I was just going through my to-do list. It's actually Thursday afternoon that I'm recording this, and I'm going over my to-do list for this weekend and the upcoming weeks, and there are times when my head just spins. Now more than usual, probably. Had a funeral today for Laura Adams, 97-year-old, sweet woman. She was one of those people in the front row when I first came 12 years ago to First Lutheran, who I could always rely on, would be very affirming on her way out the door. And I always loved her smile as she came through, just happy to be there, encouraging not just to me, but to everybody around her. But you know, her funeral couldn't be in our sanctuary. And so we had it at Oak Grove in La Crosse, beautiful cemetery, and a nice turnout. A lot of people, 30 or 40 people, I would say. And everybody was masked and distanced, and most were related, cousins and such relationships, and yet everybody still honored the masked and distanced. And I led a kind of service from the gravesite, masked and distanced. And you know, after one of her sons said to me, you know, I suppose at this point we'd usually go have a lunch somewhere. I mean, that's what we would be doing right now if we were at First Lutheran. We'd go to the basement and we'd have a lunch and catch up with each other. And I miss those days a lot, and I look forward to those days a lot. But he also had this attitude, much like his mother would have had, of, but this is beautiful too. I mean, it's a perfect day today. I mean, perfect day today. The moon was out at that time. It hadn't set yet at 11 in the morning yet. The leaves were incredible. The temperature was perfect. And they all got to do their as much catching up as they could right there, in the presence of this holy resting place for Laura. I don't know, it wasn't exactly maybe like how everybody would want it, but they were really making the best of it. And not just in a, you know, just make the best of it as though it's really not good enough. No, like it was good enough even. It was just different. I've got a wedding this weekend, and I've done a couple other weddings this summer and fall. It's a similar kind of feeling. You know, I did a wedding a couple Saturdays ago, very small and intimate, just parents and siblings. And again, not exactly what the happy couple were probably planning for as they were growing up. You know, the bride probably wasn't dreaming of that day when her pastor would stand there with a mask on for the entire ceremony, or that she'd only have 5 guests or whatever it was. But they didn't just make the best of it. They really leaned into it and appreciated the intimacy. It was a lot like, and I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, when my parents had their 50th anniversary, a similar thing. They would have had a bigger deal, would have had more music, would have had included a lot more people, but the intimacy we got to enjoy as just a family, it was special in a way that it wouldn't have been had all those other people been there. Baptisms, we're starting to do more of them at First. Again, there's something in the smallness of it. But when I think of all the different changes that are happening, that are hopefully temporary, I'm not saying I want these things to be like this forever. You know, my kids are all in online school. I did an anti-racist training the other evening online. I feel like it might have been more powerful to be in a big room with all 200 or however many of us were there, but there was something about seeing each speaker's face as they spoke close up in a camera. I caught some things that I wouldn't have caught had I been at such a physical distance from them in person. Sugar Creek Bible Camp and our hunger, the Coulee Region Hunger Walk, each of them did a 5K. Actually, this weekend is the Hunger Walks 5K. And that 5K, of course, can't be where you gather 100 or hundreds of people. It'll be virtual. And so each person or team has been invited to do the walk or bike it or run it or however it on your own or with your family or with your team, whoever it is. And although there is something about gathering in mass at Myrick Park and then all walking together, there really is something to that. And I look forward to doing that again. There is also something about walking through your own neighborhood and wondering who among us may be affected by hunger, and how might this walk help and support them. Fellowship through that our owls are doing is online, and yet they persist. It's not a way of fellowship that they're like, it's just not good enough. It's enough, and it's not just enough. There's something good about it, good that normal doesn't offer. Worship, again, being online this weekend. The COVID numbers haven't come down far enough for us to start, for us to go back to worshiping outside together. Maybe next week. But even online worship, there's some pieces that feel good to people to just be at home. Less pressure to get up and get ready and get going, especially if you have kids. So I guess what I've been thinking about is what is it? Intimacy is one gift I think that a lot of these online pieces offer, because of you're seeing my face up close and personal. We don't always get to do that in conversation or as often. I mean, I'm speaking to my congregation 3 times a week on these morning musings, in addition to Wednesday and Sunday worship. I never used to see you this much. The other thing I'm thinking about is that I pray that we would learn from this moment, which I hope doesn't go too long, that we'd have less spectacle and more substance. Because I feel like that's what we're all learning that we value. That yeah, spectacle is fun, and there's some fun in having the big party and all the trimmings and all that, but there's substance that we crave, whether it's from our politics or the continuing ed classes we take, or from worship, or from a wedding or a funeral. And so may we all seek substance this weekend as nature puts on this show of brightness in the leaves, and it's just an incredible time to be in this part of the country. So may you know substance this weekend.